Hello and welcome to ProtoMet's First Impressions, where I give my thoughts on the first episode of any new tokusatsu show. And Kamen Rider Zeztz is out and streaming. I don't want to say worldwide, but it's streaming in a lot more places than just Japan. Now, unfortunately, you can't just watch this show whenever you want. Tokusatsu is having scheduled live streams of it with the show on repeat. So definitely check those out when they're available if you want to watch the show. In fact, personally, I actually watched this last night as it was premiering, which was exciting. And let me tell you, this first episode was pretty damn good. It starts off with a celebrity being held hostage by bad guys and a secret agent going in to rescue her. And he does, shooting all the bad guys with rubber bullets. And then it turns out it's a dream sequence. Which I haven't really been paying attention to the promotion and marketing for this show leading up to this. I was aware that this show had elements of dreams, that it would be taking place in dreams, but all the marketing that I did see for the main character made him seem like a professional, and he certainly does come across as a professional until he wakes up. And you learn that he doesn't actually even have a job. He's just a big spy movie fan. Or I guess spy media. It's probably not just limited to movies and shows. He probably reads books. And Tokusatsu actually did a fantastic job of subtitling just about everything, to the point where it's probably a bit too much for somebody to really pay attention. This leads me to hope that this gets released on Blu-ray in the future, so that one could actually take the time and read what's all subtitled. But that's talking about Tokusatsu's attention to detail for this. They do a fantastic job. But yeah, we learned that the main character, whose name I didn't recall, in the dream he called himself Code 7, but that's clearly not his actual name. I don't recall what his actual name is, but turns out he's living with his sister Minami, who is basically doing everything around the house. And so he tries to apply at an employment agency to try and help him find a job where he can help people. And while he's there, he ends up witnessing a kidnapping that he doesn't realize until the mother discovers her daughter missing. And he goes to try and stop the culprit, only to be hit by a vehicle and wind up in the hospital. And it's while he's recovering in the hospital that his sister reveals that he has the worst luck. Comparable to Ryotaro Nogami from Kamen Rider Den, but not nearly as funny, unfortunately. Whereas Ryotaro is comically unlucky, this guy is tragically unlucky, because he always has bad luck while trying to help people. He wants to help people, but his sister gets upset with him for wanting to help people because it always leads to him getting hurt. And that actually presents an interesting dynamic where yes, she is against him helping people, but she's against it for his sake. I'm curious to see how this progresses, how this will affect the plot's development, but yeah, investigating the I don't want to call it a hit and run, because turns out the vehicle stayed behind, but whatever was moving the vehicle is no longer in the SUV that hit him. And so now that's being investigated by a special division of the police that are kind of akin to the special division of the police in Kamen Rider Double, at least in terms of what their goal is, which is to investigate unusual crimes. And apparently there are a lot of these unexplainable crimes that have been happening lately. There's this mystery bad guy who's basically the one who instigates the lead character getting into the accident. Yeah, stuff. What else happened? The guy has another dream of him being a secret agent. Except this time it doesn't go nearly as well, as he winds up being confronted by basically a dream monster called a nightmare, who turns the dream on its head. And throughout this entire dream sequence, everything kind of feels like a dream. Locations shift drastically, go through one door, wind up in a completely random location. Even shifting around the camera to different shots will give you stuff changes in the background. And to be completely honest, after watching the first announcement trailer for this, back when Tokusatsu first posted that, I was a bit worried that this show was going to be relying on, say, AI-generated content, and that doesn't seem to be the case. It does seem to be like there's a conscious stream of consciousness to all this that makes it feel like it is part of a dream, like intentionally so, rather than lol, so random. And so I definitely like the dream sequences and how weird they're going to look. I'm hoping that they keep the dream sequences these kind of semi-disjointed and somewhat random, because on the one hand, it is accurate to how dreams generally play out. Like, I can think of a couple dreams that I've had recently that have been very similar in that kind of tone, where things are unrealistic, but I just flow with it. But then also, it reminds me of some of the Maku world sequences from, say, Space Sheriff Gavin, or from any of the Space Sheriff trilogy, but Gavin's especially. Like, I remember there's a particular episode that mostly feels like a dream sequence because of how it kind of is a structured random, and I'm really hoping that the dream sequences keep like this, but I can kind of understand if they don't due to perhaps production costs, but I mean King Oger managed to have largely green screened sets, so why not allow this show to have something similar for the dream sequences? It worked for King Oger. But yeah, while the lead character is having this dream sequence, he's not doing very well against the monster, who is just kicking him around. Like, he's in a real tough spot. And then he winds up encountering the mysterious Commander Zero, who is probably just a shadowy figure created from his own dreams of being a secret agent, who basically gives him a belt to use to transform. And by using this belt while lucid dreaming, he does acknowledge that he is able to take control of the dream and be lucid in the dream. It just doesn't quite work against the nightmare monster. But while lucid dreaming, he is able to acquire this belt, strap it across his chest, spin the ball that's inserted into it, and transform into Kamen Rider Zeztz. That's Zeztz. They're definitely going for a dream sequence, even with that title, even with that stylized title, ZZZ, sleep. Yeah, that's a dead giveaway that It's all a dream. But using the power of Zeztz, he's able to easily conquer the monster in some cool sequences. And I'm not gonna lie, I love the design of Zeztz with the whole, but with the not having the belt on the waist look to it. It looks like the kind of under bodysuit that Kamen Rider Zero has, but it's a lot more noticeable because of the belt not being on the chest, but rather across the chest. Across the waist. Not across the waist, across the chest. Did I say chest twice? Probably. But looks absolutely great. I'm looking forward to picking up the figure arts that has been announced. I mean, I was going to get it anyway, but now I'm even more excited for it. But yeah, no, he uses his acquired dream strength to defeat the monster, and he wakes up in the hospital, not dead, because the monster attacking him was putting him in a pretty bad situation in the real world, but he survived. He managed to beat Freddy. There's no Freddy. Not in this movie. Or not in this show, maybe. I mean, maybe they'll do a clawed monster that evokes Freddy, but no, he manages to beat the nightmare and awake in the real world, all fine and dandy. And then at the end of the episode, he learns that the belt came with him, and the lead investigator spots this while kind of spying on him in the hospital. So he's probably going to be a close friend, close associate. But it does raise the question of whether or not this guy, who in his dreams is calling himself Code 7, if he's going to be able to transform in the real world, or if it's only going to be usable in dreams. Will he be able to enter the dreams of others? And somebody said that somebody else compared it to Kamen Rider Wizard, but good. And that's not entirely wrong. Like, I legitimately hope that it is a really good season, because this first episode was incredibly satisfying. I was very satisfied with it. I was a bit nervous going into it, because I kind of had the worry that it might be relying on, AI generated content, which doesn't seem to be the case. Glad that doesn't appear to be the case. I could be wrong. I sincerely hope not. I would assume that, in the tokusatsu genre, be as realistic as possible. You utilize the people. But incredibly satisfying first episode. It's probably currently live streaming, because this is the day after premiere. I know that when I caught the initial stream, that it was repeating. Like, as soon as the first episode ended, it then started again. And just went all throughout the night. I didn't watch it all throughout the night. I only watched it the one time, but the listing was still in my YouTube feed to watch, so I'm looking forward to checking out next week's second episode. I'm looking forward to seeing how this show progresses. It had an incredibly strong first episode, and definitely recommend checking it out. So until next time, I'm ProtoMet. See ya.